What's going on, everybody? It's Short Circuit Garage, and I'm back with a new video. So recently I traded my Coleman mini bike for a Monster Moto 80cc mini bike and a custom made three-wheeler, as you can see in the background there. Um, Not really a good trade considering the 80cc didn't work very well when I got it, and the Coleman was running beautifully. But I went ahead and traded it anyway just because I'm looking to keep up with the content. So, um, yeah, I figured why not take on another project. So I recently changed the brake lines on this bike. Both the throttle cable and the brake were seized. Um, Now, as you can see, I have functioning brakes, well, semi-functioning brakes. The brake pads are non-existent, so obviously I'm not going to stop. I'm going to have to rely on engine braking, but um, what can you do? It's only 80 cc's. It's not going to get too fast and not too crazy unless I do some modifications, so don't really need them right now. Um, so in regards to the grips on these things, you're going to have to end up cutting them and using a flathead screwdriver most likely to get underneath of there and pry it. Um, because these things get really stuck on there, especially the original grips. As far as the throttle tube goes, both of the screws that I had were seized and rusted, so I put some WD-40 on there, waited a little bit, and then basically I was able to take one screw out and slide it off the handlebar, and after that I was able to get the whole assembly off. Right now I'm doing a voiceover, so if you can see obviously my hand motions are not lining up with with the audio. That's why. But anyway, so yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to take them off, but a little bit of prying, you'll get them off. I went and got a blue set. I think if I take those rims off and paint them blue and with the blue handles and the blue cable, I think they'll look pretty good, pretty snazzy. And this is me attempting to put the grip on. Now these grips are really hard to get on. You have to, use a good bit of strength and force to try to jam them on there. If you have a rubber mallet, if you can get it on there as much as possible and take a rubber mallet and just lightly tap the end there as you push, that'll help a lot. Now let's get into this throttle. So I accidentally put the cable on before I put it in the bracket, as you can see here, and those things are a pain in the butt to get off. So what I was supposed to do was run that cable through this little bracket here, screw it into that little piece, and then attach it to the throttle tube. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in the next clip. I had ended up damaging a little bit of the cable here, so as you'll see in a minute, I'm going to get that off. So yeah, I got it off. I put it in this bracket here where it's supposed to be, screwed it in. This is all pretty self-explanatory, sorry. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to walk you through it anyway. So what you want to do is you want to wrap that cable around that white part of the throttle tube. You're not going to have any slack in the actual cable itself, but that's okay because once that cable is wrapped around that white part and you put it on the handlebar, when you twist it back, you're going to get slack and then you'll be able to run it to your throttle. So that's completely normal if that, if you're maybe worried like, oh man, I don't have enough cable here. You definitely do. But these Amazon throttles, they do run a little small for what I like, but they're really cheap, 15 bucks. You can't beat it, honestly, and it works just fine. But if you don't wrap that around the white part, you're not going to have a lot of throttle to work with, and you may be able to twist it like a quarter of the way. So I'd recommend definitely wrapping it around that part first. This little black piece here, that's basically a cable guide. So when you go to put it in the bracket, you're going to want to put the curved part with the little channel in it. As you can see here in a second, I have it on back. There you go. Again, pretty self-explanatory. That cable is just going to sit right in that little groove there, and it's just going to keep it there and not allow it to roam freely in that bracket. And it's just going to basically keep it in place for you. So after you put that in there, you're going to want to put the whole assembly together as shown here. That's what it looks like with the wire wrapped around that white part with that black piece in. Here I'm demonstrating that you could put it on that way, but it's smarter to put the bottom part of the bracket on, screw it in very loosely, don't screw it in too tight. That way you can just slide the whole assembly right onto the handlebar. So that's going to be coming up in a moment. Any second. Waiting. There we go. Okay, cool. Make sure you have that little threaded part of the bracket facing up. And it also makes it easy to have the screws to the side. You can also kind of tilt it down a little bit if you want, whatever makes it easier, but this is a good spot for it to sit. Once you get it on, you're going to want to run the cable down. Now, when I put the brake lines on, I already zip tied the brake lines, so I didn't tighten them all the way. So now I can run that cable all the way down the front forks and run that through my zip ties and then into the throttle, which is what I'm demonstrating right there. So I'm going to run that cable down the front forks. Struggling a little bit to do this. Alright, and then I'm going to put it through that first zip tie there. Now, like I said, this cable is a little short, so as you're going to see here in a second, I'm going to fumble this pretty hard trying to get it lined up. But essentially, however you can get it connected to your throttle, you know, whatever works, works. Obviously, I was not able to run it all the way down the frame, like I said, as you're about to see that. But as long as it pulls that throttle down, you're alright. Just put it wherever you need to put it. They also make little clips that you can zip tie them onto, and where that bolt's missing, you can stick the clip in there and essentially just hold it onto the pull start. Speaking of pull start, I need a new one. This one is jacked up. I tried replacing that, or not replacing that, but fixing that. Did not work very well. I greased it up and everything. It still starts and runs just fine, but it's just a matter of figuring out how that goes back together. I might end up just putting a new engine on this mini bike anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, yep, here I am still struggling to figure out where to run the wire to, the cable. But yeah, so when you run the cable, you're going to want to stick it in that hole there. There's a little nut with a hole drilled through it. Once you stick it through there, you're going to want to screw that screw. You're going to need a wrench or something to hold that nut down so that it doesn't spin freely. And then you're going to take the cable and you're going to clamp it down to that little part right there that I'm showing you and just run it straight up into that little nut. A little side note, there is a little nub on the end of the cable. Both of the mini bikes that I've messed around with, those do not fit through those little nuts there. So you have to unfortunately cut that off. But if you do cut it off, do not cut off too much because you don't have much to begin with anyways. So just literally cut just enough of that cable so that that little nub comes off. There is a little hack that you can use basically a fishing egg sinker and just run that line all the way through and then use some sort of pliers or something to clamp it, or basically just heat it up and melt it on there. But as you can see, this is how it's going to look when you're done. And there's enough to stick a little bit of slack through that nut, but essentially now the throttle works like it should. The only issue is that spring back there is rusted, and it looks like they tried maybe to bypass the governor, and they took some sort of wire and tied it to the governor arm. That's very loose, so I'll have to figure that out. So as of right now, the throttle will engage, but then you have to like twist it back in order to get it to stop. But that's not a big deal. Like I said, anyways, this engine may be going. Maybe not. Who knows? Honestly. But yeah. So that's all. That's all set up and connected how it should be. Here's me just going on and on for no reason. Dragging this thing out, I guess. But yeah, that's essentially it. It's pretty pretty simple to put it together. All right, and then in this little clip here, I'm just demonstrating that I believe my clutch is worn out. I want to take it for a test drive, and when I'm sitting on it, the bike will not move. It basically just stands still. Literally, just my weight can prevent it from going. Now, if I kick off, it'll go. It'll run on flat ground. But as soon as I hit elevation or thick grass, it doesn't move at all. However, if I lift the back tire off the ground, um, it'll do exactly what it needs to do. So I believe the clutch may be needing to be replaced. If that's the case, you can pick up a cheap clutch on Amazon or Go Power Sports or something like that for 20 to 30 bucks.